Greece needs to target couples when they're young. They need to offer them the ability to move to the countryside where having children is both healthier for childhood and rearing. It's more tenable in a village that has a solid school system with a local hospital and helps secure Greek borders to boot. This would stimulate the local economy and therefore the national economy. And you can't talk about solutions for demographic crisis without targeting regional revitalization. Governments need to incentivize young couples and families to settle in rural areas by offering land grants, targeted loans, or business startup funds. And you can't talk about regional revitalization without addressing infrastructure upgrades. You need to improve transport. So if somebody is commuting from the village to the city, you need to be able to provide reliable transportation for them to do this on the daily. You need to subsidize relocation to depopulated regions like Epirus, Evros, and the islands. You need to support agricultural innovation. You do this by supporting young farmers with grants for sustainable agriculture and agrotourism, which would boost rural economies and reverse urban migration. You need to address educational access. Greece needs to ensure high-quality schools and universities are accessible in Athens and Thessaloniki, but of course, outside of those major urban centers. And of course, there needs to be a cultural campaign. Soft power is incredibly effective for deep-seated change. It's a long-term investment, but it pays off. If the majority of TV shows in Greece are centered around Athens, and if news is centered around Athens, and if in reality living in Athens in a tiny apartment with more than one child is not tenable, then you're reinforcing this idea that the ultimate Greek dream is to live in Athens. But that's shooting yourself in the foot because that's one of the causes for your demographic crisis. So TV shows should be about village life. Documentaries should showcase more of the positive aspects of life in the countryside. And the news should finally concern itself with the lives of the majority of Greeks, not just Athenians. Greece is not Athens, but you really wouldn't know this from watching the news or TV here. And if you think I'm over-exaggerating, watch the news for a half an hour. Any standard news program. The heavy majority is Athens-centered news. And if you think I'm over-exaggerating for the TV aspect, watch Maestro in Blue on Netflix and read it for the unbelievable Athenian bias that it has. Just for example, if you know the premise, think about how all the young characters are repeatedly talking about how they want to leave their backwards island full of these closed-minded yokels, and they want to get to Athens where they can finally be free. And the characters in Athens talk about their lives there like they're in the center of culture, and life outside of it in the eparchia or in the hinterland is so bleak. I'm not kidding. Watch the show, again if you need to, and tell me there's not a heavy Athenian bias. And this goes for so many TV shows in Greece.